lesson में हम walking bass lines के बारे में सीखेंगे. We're going to take a simple chord progression and use concepts like chord tones, scale tones, chromatic notes, tension and release to construct a line. हम metronome के बारे में भी सीखेंगे and how to use it to get the right feel. And every exercise has notation, tablature and a backing track. So let's dig in and have some fun. The best way to learn walking bass lines is actually by listening to them and learning them from the masters, right? तो मैंने Ray Brown, Oscar Pettiford, Jaco Pastorius और Paul Chambers के links नीचे दिए हुए हैं, and let's take a listen to a few examples. तो walking bass lines हैं क्या? Well, walking bass lines are a way of connecting chords, multiple chords, by using some kind of bass motion. So, for example, अगर आप 4/4 time में हो, that means you have 4 quarter notes in every measure. So let's take something in the key of, for example, C major. So we have C major, which is the 1 chord. We have A minor 7, which is the 6 chord. We have D minor 7, which is the 2 chord, and then we have G7, which is the 5 chord. This is a very common chord progression in jazz, 1 6 2 5s. C major, A minor, D minor, G7. Okay, so that is the chord progression. तो इसके लिए अगर हम एक walking bass line prepare करेंगे, it would be something like this: 2 3 4. अब हम bass mechanics explore करेंगे. Okay, so in order to do this, let's choose a metronome tempo and make it really nice and slow. So the first thing we're going to do is really understand where the roots are in our chord progression. So let's make the metronome slow. हम एक comfortable tempo choose करेंगे so that we don't make mistakes, and we're going to play on every beat. 1 2 3 4. C, A minor, D minor, G7. Great. Now the second thing is also to get a good feel of what a walking bass line is, right? अब इसमें हम beats number 2 and 4 accent करेंगे. Essentially हम पहले beat को थोड़ा लंबा बजाएंगे and second beat को हम थोड़ा shorter बजाएंगे. So for example, 1 2 3 4. So essentially मेरे beats 1 and 3 लंबे हैं और मेरे beats 2 and 4 थोड़े shorter हैं. And the way I'm doing that is essentially by I'm not palm muting with my right hand. मैं actually अपने left hand fretting hand को beats 2 and 4 पे I'm letting go of it a little early. For example, C C C C A. Great. तो अगर आपने ये practice किया है in this key, then you are going to get more and more comfortable with the feel of a walking bass line. क्योंकि बाद में हम अपने metronome को भी change करेंगे into beats 2 and 4, a different feel, and you'll see how easy this is to take it there. ये जो visualization है is very important, okay? क्योंकि हर beat में हम tension और release का एक गेम खेलेंगे essentially. Walking bass lines में tension create करेंगे and then we release them on the downbeat of the next bar. So for example, अगर हम C major से A minor जाएंगे, the idea is to create a nice line that builds some tension and then releases it when we get to A minor. ठीक है, तो हमें actually आगे सोचना पड़ता है when we are looking at bass lines. Actually ये fundamental point है improvisation में, is to look ahead. तो हम अब एक न्यू एक्सरसाइज करेंगे एंड वी आर गोइंग टू इंट्रोड्यूस द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ हाफ स्टेप अप्रोच नोट. तो अगर हम सी मेजर से ए माइनर जाएंगे तो ऑन बीट 4 हम एक हाफ स्टेप अप्रोच नोट इंट्रोड्यूस कर सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल जी शार्प दैट गोज टू ए, सो इट वुड बी सी जी शार्प ए. तो ये है एक अप्रोच नोट फ्रॉम बिलो. हम एक अप्रोच नोट फ्रॉम अबव भी कर सकते हैं, दैट्स ऑल्सो अ हाफ स्टेप which would be A sharp. So for example, C, A sharp, A. So let's try this. Let's try the half step approach note from below through the entire progression. So ये होगा essentially like this. Okay, so 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. अब हम हाफ स्टेप अप्रोच नोट फ्रॉम अबव ट्राई करेंगे. दैट मीन्स वी आर गोइंग टू टारगेट ए बाय हिटिंग ए शार्प, राइट, फ्रॉम अबव. 1, 2, 3, 4. अब आप ट्राई करिए. आई एम गोइंग टू प्ले द कॉर्ड प्रोग्रेशन ट्वाइस. फर्स्ट साइकिल और फर्स्ट टाइम जब मैं बजाऊंगा, प्ले द रूट्स ऑन बीट्स 1, 2 and 3 of every bar, and on beat 4 आप एक पहली साइकिल में हाफ स्टेप अप्रोच नोट फ्रॉम बिलो करोगे और सेकंड साइकिल में हाफ स्टेप अप्रोच नोट फ्रॉम अबव. ओके, 2, 3, 4. अब हमने बीट्स 1 पे फोकस किया है. वी नो दैट्स गोइंग टू बी अ रूट. और हमने बीट्स 4 पे ये हाफ स्टेप अप्रोच नोट फ्रॉम अबव एंड बिलो एक्सप्लोर किया है. नाउ लेट्स लुक एट बीट्स 2 and 3. इस एक्सरसाइज के लिए वी आर गोइंग टू चूज कॉर्ड टोन्स. अगर आपको कॉर्ड टोन्स नहीं पता है, देन गो बैक टू लेसन 4 and even lesson 3 and review this. Okay, to revise, essentially, let's look at the chord tones of each of these chords. So C major mein we have C, E, G, B. So C is root, 3 is the E, 5th is the G, and B is the 7th. Okay. A minor is A, C, E, G. Okay. So the 3rd is C, the 5th is E, and the flat 7 is G. D minor में हमारे chord tones क्या हैं? We have D, F, A, C. So the 3rd is F, the 5th is A, and the flat 7 is C. And then G7 में we have G, B, D, F, where G is root, B is 3rd, D is 5th, and F is flat 7. Again, go back to lesson 3 in this series and review chord tones if you haven't already. ठीक है. तो अब हम ये फॉर्मूला चूज करेंगे इस एक्सरसाइज के लिए. बीट 1 इज रूट, बीट 2 इज द थर्ड ऑफ एवरी कॉर्ड, राइट, ऑफ दैट क्वालिटी, एंड बीट 3 विल बी रूट अगेन, एंड बीट 4 विल बी अ क्रोमैटिक और अ हाफ स्टेप नोट फ्रॉम बिलो. सो फॉर एग्जांपल, सी मेजर के लिए वी आर गोइंग टू चूज सी ऑन बीट 1, ई विच इज द थर्ड ऑन बीट 2, back to C, right? Now we're going to approach A from a half step below, so A sharp, A, right? So let's try that. Same thing for every chord. So I'll show you what it is. So it's 2, 3, 4. Excellent. Now you try it. Remember, root, third, root, half step below. 2, 3, 4. अब हम नेक्स्ट एक्सरसाइज के लिए ऑन बीट 2 we're going to replace the third with the fifth. So अब हमारा फॉर्मूला है रूट फिफ्थ रूट, और अब हम हाफ स्टेप फ्रॉम अबव करेंगे, ओके, इनटू द टारगेट नोट. सो 1 2 3 4 C G C A sharp A. Great. तो अब हमने chord tones beats 1 2 and 3 पे डाले हैं. Now let's make them even more interesting. अब this time इस exercise के लिए हम root third and fifth, root को beat 1 पे डालेंगे, third को beat 2 पे डालेंगे, and fifth को beat 3 पे डालेंगे. And we're going to choose a half step approach note from above on beat 4. अगर आप गिटार पे बजा रहे हो तो these are mechanics. As much as you can, you want to try and figure out all your intervals ताकि ये दोनों bottom strings पे आते हैं. जब आप तीसरी string पे आओगे, it sounds a little thin. Okay? So try when you, for example, अगर आप C triad बजाओगे, so it's C, E, G, ये जो G है, try and put it down here on the lowest string. So it'll be like 2, 3, 4. Instead of so okay, good. Okay, अब हम स्केल टोन्स भी लगा सकते हैं. वी आर इन द की ऑफ सी. तो अगर आपने लेसन 2 नहीं देखा है, गो बैक एंड रिव्यू इट. बट बेसिकली अब हम एक स्केल फॉर्मूला भी यूज़ कर सकते हैं. स्केल्स आर वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग बिकॉज दे हेल्प अस क्रिएट मोर लिनियर लाइन्स, ओके, दैट ग्रेजुअली बिल्ड टेंशन. तो फॉर एग्जाम्पल हम स्केल डिग्रीज 1 2 and 3 यूज़ करेंगे ऑन बीट्स 1 2 and 3. स्केल टोन्स को आइडेंटिफाई करने के लिए आई एम गोइंग टू शो यू अ सिंपल सिस्टम. हमारे बेस लाइन के लिए इन अ बार वी नीड अ रूट, अ सेकंड डिग्री एंड अ थर्ड डिग्री ऑफ अ स्केल, राइट? सो द स्केल हैज़ टू रिलेट टू द कॉर्ड दैट इट इज़ related to. For the first bar, it's C major. So C major में we need the first, second, and third scale degrees. So that's very simple: C, D, and E. So A, C. Now we have A minor 7 in the second bar. Well, A minor is in the key of C. It's relative minor. So to find the scale degrees, all we have to do is pretend that the scale starts from A. That's the root. So हमें बस if A is our root, then B is our second degree for that mode, and C is the third degree. So our scale tones are A, B, and C. D minor is also in the key of C. So इसके लिए let's just move the root, pretend that our scale starting on D and going up to a D, an octave higher. So if D is our root, then the second degree and third degrees will be E and F. And finally, G7 is also in the key of C. So we start our new scale from G, A, and the second degree is A, third degree is B. So now we have all the notes that we need for each bar, right? And the fourth, well, is basic improvisation. ये आप half step above or below choose कर सकते हो. So let's see what this sounds like. ठीक है? Good. Now you try it. Up till now, we have put diatonic notes on beats 1, 2, and 3, either chord tones or scale tones. अब हम beats 1 and 2 पे diatonic notes रखेंगे, for example, root and third or root and fifth. And on beats 3 and 4, हम अपने chromatic notes use करेंगे. Okay, so fourth beat में we already have a half step of note, approach note, right? क्योंकि हम for example अगर C major से A minor जाएंगे, we know that the beat 4 will either be a G sharp or an A sharp, right? Half step below or half step above. और ये जो G sharp और A sharp हैं, they are not diatonic to the key of C, so they are chromatic. तो अब हम beat 3 में एक और chromatic note डाल सकते हैं. So for example, अगर हम C major से A minor जाएंगे, and let's use the following assumption. हम beat 1 पे root डालेंगे, beat 2 पे third डालेंगे, beat 4 पे we are using a chromatic approach note from below. ठीक है? So हम beat 3 पे एक और chromatic note introduce कर सकते हैं, which is a half step below G sharp. So for example, हम ये भी कर सकते हैं. We can do root third G sharp A sharp A. तो हमने दो options यहाँ include किए. So one is just a stepwise chromatic motion leading up to beat 1, the downbeat on the next bar. और दूसरे option में actually हमने ये जो beat 1 है, we enclosed it. So let me play you a few examples. You can learn them and analyze them. तो जाने के पहले we need to do one very important thing. So far we felt the metronome or the metronome on every beat. अब हम metronome को beats 2 and 4 पे hear करेंगे. So let's hear what that sounds like. Okay, so for example, let's say I'm at 100 BPM. Okay, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 100 BPM on quarter beats is the same as 50 BPM where you're counting half notes. So let's try that. So 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to write out a study that you can explore and fool around with. Remember, the basic idea is कि आप diatonic notes beats 1, 2 and 3 पे रख सकते हैं, and you can put chromatic notes on beats 3 and 4. But ये generally mechanical rules हैं. The best way to learn walking bass lines is to actually listen to them and analyze them and figure out for yourself. But even then, ये जो framework मैंने अभी explain किया है, that's very helpful to understand how to analyze walking bass lines. Or next lesson में I'm going to show you how to add chords to these bass lines. Something like that. So if you have any questions for me or us at the Goa Jazz Academy, please do email me at karan@goajazzacademy.com. And we'd love to see what you're working on, and if you have a few minutes, do check out some of the other videos in this lesson series and whatever else is on our YouTube, Instagram and Facebook. Have a great evening or day wherever you are.